Welcome to the Healing Heart Podcast, where all healing is always a matter of the heart. I'm your host, Donna Campbell, also known as the Mind Whisperer, interviewing guest experts on all matters of healing. Hi, everybody, and welcome back here to the Healing Heart Podcast, and I am your host, Donna Campbell. I have an amazing guest today. Now, she was born and raised in Vancouver, Canada, and has been in the health and wellness field for over 30 years, and a pioneer in bringing the idea of holistic natural medicine to the marketplace, which I absolutely love because all healing, even though it's a matter of the heart, always goes back to everything naturally that's already been given. She has formulated hundreds of natural products that have been taken to market. She owns a private health practice and has personally worked on over 30,000 clients. In the beginning of her career, she used to be called a hippie, and now she's a well-known professional hippie, and I absolutely love that, and has been making incredible strides in bringing wellness to the world. She is very passionate and knowledgeable about the study of age reversal, cellular health, and fell in love with the study of natural wellness in her 20s. Specifically, she fell in love with the brain almost 20 years ago and has dedicated years to understanding how to help others look better, feel better, and live better. She is ready to share about how to turn back that clock on your brain health and prevent the aging progression. Been an entrepreneur ever since the beginning and is well known in the circle of women for business. Not only in addition to her whole career in there, she's been a keynote speaker, recognized throughout North America and internationally for her accolades, spoken on stages up to only 20,000 people, and still loves to talk to audiences of 5. She has dedicated an incredible amount of time to speaking, teaching, and mentoring women. She's been listed in Success magazine over 40 times and has been nominated and awarded many top awards and is well known in TV, radio, and media. So everyone, let's give a huge warm welcome to Deborah Drummond. Welcome to the show, Deborah.
Oh, thank you so much, Donna. This is such a pleasure. Good way to start the day.
Yes, I'm so excited. And I love all of the things that you have done in natural health, natural healing, because really, even with my own path and journey, it was going back to all of those natural things that really put the body back together. But we're not here to really talk about that piece today because we have something special for our listeners. And we're going to learn all about healing, but also with archangels and ascended masters.
You know, it's really interesting when I think about, when you listen to someone talk about what you do, right? When it comes back to you like that. And people say to me a lot of times, how do you do what you do? Or why do you do what you do? And you try to explain to them, I'm like, like this, I'm doing this walk across Ireland as a philanthropy project. And I'm like, kind of like a God drop, and I think when I say that, I know that you nod your head and you get it, but we get moved in directions. I didn't know when I started my, massage clinic or started learning holistic medicine or what have you, that one day I was going to have an experience where it took me down the road of learning about spirituality and angels and seeing things and hearing things. I mean, look, it was a long time ago. It was 30 years. Well, the first time I had sight, I was 8 years old, and that kind of freaked me out more than anything. But when I started to be able to put it together with an adult mind and realize that I was getting messages for other people, and start to work with that and be okay with that, that was a really interesting experience. It was difficult, actually, at first. Yeah.
Yes. So tell us and share with us what happened for you 30 years ago that it opened up your eyes to this whole spiritual realm for you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, when I was 8 years old, I was, sleeping with my cousin. We were doing a sleepover, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and at the end of the bed, there was literally illuminating like Jesus, the same thing you'd walk into a church and you see like a statue of Jesus. I was 8, and I was like, I think I went frozen in fear, because I had not been raised in a house that even talked about Jesus. So I was like, I knew who you are. What are you doing there? And so it stayed with me for a couple of days. I could still describe each of those days afterwards. And of course I kept it to myself. And then it wasn't until I started doing massage. I took a holistic massage course and I started doing massage. I was pregnant with my daughter at the time. And then my daughter was, oh, I don't know, months, just months old. And I was massaging somebody and I literally saw, I had gotten messages before and felt intuitive, but never would I have called myself a psychic or intuitive. And I literally saw, as I was massaging this person, all of their guides stand around them and start talking to me. I was in the middle of doing a massage and I'm like, again, it was fearful. We're talking 30 years ago, right? No one talked about psychic. The only thing that you saw on TV was maybe a crystal ball movie, someone doing a fortune telling, or a gypsy or something, and they weren't thought so highly of. So I had this experience. And so I got through the massage and then I called my teacher and I'm like, what the heck is going on? She's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then I'm like, what do I do? And she's like, no idea. Never had that experience. And I was like, oh my gosh, I literally called my girlfriend. She was, very strong Christian. And I was like, what's happening? And she, you know what I mean? I'm talking to her about it. She was a very open-hearted Christian. And I'm like, I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this. It's like, it was accurate. Like, for example, I wasn't telling my clients, I was massaging, at the beginning of a massage, I would say, okay, take a deep breath. And I would be massaging their head and let go of your day. Well, one day I was like, okay, take a deep breath and let go of your J. And literally my client's eyes opened and I'm like, sorry, I just meant to say day. And they're like, I'm literally sitting here thinking about whether I should leave my boyfriend. His name is Jay. And I'm like, okay. So it came to me and it took me probably, honestly, a year to assimilate and get okay with. And it just happened that one day I went for a massage and I was getting a massage by a woman in the community and she stopped the massage. She goes, do you mind if I tell you what I'm getting? And I literally almost burst into tears. I'm like, are you going to tell me messages? She goes, yeah. I go, that happens to you too? And she goes, yeah. And honestly, I was like, I just hung on to her for dear water because I didn't have anyone to talk to about that. So that's kind of how it started for me. And then I just got more and more comfortable with it as I started, I just got more and more comfortable with it. And then as the world and society got comfortable with it to the point where I ended up having 2 radio shows where I would do psychic readings on radio. And then also I'm in Canada. So there was an organization that found out about what I did. And I used to actually do, because I love business. So I used to do psychic economic reports for every province in Canada and do that on the radio once a month.
Wow. So much fun. So much fun. So these energy beings, they come to you, share with you messages, and then you translate that for healing for different types of clients. Is that sort of how the pathway works for you?
Yeah. So if clients want to, they want to know about their money, their project, their relationship, like all the areas of our lives, right? Yeah. People can come to me and I would do what I call a channeling. So it's psychic reading, channeling, whatever. They start talking and my pen starts writing. I hear words in my head and I have to write it down and then I can relay it. There's also where they can come and I'll bring in their guides. Now they're lying on a table. I bring in their guides. Just like literally, I would see them walk through the walls. Like that was the freaky part of it in the beginning. Like they would walk through the walls and stand around the table and start talking. So now, it's cool. I'm like, okay, who are we talking to today? And I can ask them who they are and how old they are and what messages they have to bring. And then the client can actually have that conversation. So I'm just kind of this, this interpreter for both of them, just mediuming back and forth, and they can ask whatever they want. I can, obviously I get visions. I was just in Mexico. We were talking about that. I was in Mexico. I'm helping someone buy real estate and I was doing some meditation and yoga. And literally this is, Jesus was standing in front of me and he's like, you need to stop being so serious and go have some fun tonight. I dance and you need to go dance too. Like I was literally like, I'm like, okay. And I went and had some fun that night and it was a good time. So I will see or get messages from Jesus. Talks to me a lot. Mother Mary, I'm really tapped into Archangel Michael. I love using his energy. So I started studying angels and them coming to me and doing workshops and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So using a couple of different words, we talked about ascended masters, we talked about archangels, angels, and guides. Really, what is the difference between any of them?
I think it's our representation of them or our interpretation of them. Like, you could call Jesus a master. You could call Jesus a guide. You could call Jesus, Jesus. You know what I mean? I think each angel just like us on earth, we all have our gifts and we all have our abilities and we all have our knowingness and we all have our, main craft, right? So, if people say to me, okay, out of everything you do, what's your main craft? I'm like, service. That's it, like everyone knows, hey, if someone needs a place to stay, call Deb. Like she will open her door and find a spot on the couch. I'm in service. Other people are in something else. And so I think as we start to understand and learn about what the angels or ascended masters' best gifts are, we can lean into that. I'm like, if no ascended masters and gifts, go with the big guys, go with Jesus, go with Mary, go with the ones that can, send an angel to you that's really good at that area. But ascended masters and angels tend to have a craft like we do that they specialize in. I would say they're specialists. And then if you know and understand them, you can go to them for that. Or you can just ask, I would say ask the big ones. If I was praying and I needed something, let's say I needed something for my health today. Now I know that's Archangel Raphael, but I could just say to Jesus, I'm like, okay, this is what's going on for me in my life today. Send me who I need. Send me who I need. When I'm doing a treatment with somebody, they send, right? Whoever it is. And we have guides that are interesting. I mean, you can be getting, I remember this one story in particular. This gentleman came to me for treatment and guides came in and there was two very young, Peruvian children that came to talk. And they were telling me to tell him about a discovery that he was going to have years down the road that was going to be very important for society. So it doesn't have to be always an angel that we see in the book or what we read in our scriptures, whether it's Sanskrit, whether it's, the Bible, whether it's, whatever, whoever your God is. I'm not depicting that. It can be it can be a guide that you wouldn't even know about, or a person that's going to be coming into your life. I might be able to see them coming in 6 months from now. There's someone coming in and this is the message that they're going to have for you and you need to pay attention.
Right. So in receiving a lot of those messages, because this is just so fascinating to me, because yes, we can all receive messages. We can all follow our intuitive guidance. We can all tap into these energies, but with healing, and I often say, all healing is a matter of the heart. How have some of the different ascended masters, angels, archangels have come in to facilitate healing for you and what you've seen with maybe some of your clients through the messages that you receive?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think when it comes to myself, it's interesting. I always say the healer needs healing. So knowing when your bucket's empty, knowing when the right person's been put in front of you. I always say, if someone says to me, wow, is that person really good at what they do in terms of healing? I'm like, yep. Right. I mean, if I've seen them or I've done their work or I've done their project or I've done what have you, then definitely it was for me. So how has having this energy changed my life? I think that I've had a lot of experiences in my life that one would say were challenging, unpleasant, and would never want to experience themselves. And I think having this tap into this amazing healing energy, it gives me a greater understanding of humanness and people's human abilities. And this whole thing about doing the best they can with what they have and all those kind of stuff. I think it gives me a vast understanding of human in their human world and how they think, and spirit and how spirit thinks, and how this is so expansive and this can be so limiting and people don't really know their full potential or understand how to change things. I believe that having that gift or being able to tap in has been able to make me a better human by nature and heal things with me that I really needed to heal. I mean, there's been some stuff that are pretty wounded based, and I don't know if anything but a beautiful spirit that I could tap into in the middle of a cry in the middle of a night would do. You know what I mean? You can call your girlfriend, you can call a colleague, but I think if you have access or choose to have access or bring in a spiritual experience into your life, then you feel like you've got a best friend all the time. And in terms of being able to help clients, it's been, I think, on many different levels. Now, people come to me for all different things, right? I have a specialty of being able to help houses sell. So I can go to a house that's not selling and do my thing and tell them what to do. And I'm not a stager, I'm a clearer,
Right.
but they may have to move furniture or whatever. and just the relief that people get, financially. I've had people in business come to me by the time they get in the car and drive away, they've closed a couple of deals that have been pending in the air. So, financially people have benefited. I had one woman say to me, like, she came to me, her and her husband came to me, and I didn't know they were on the verge of divorce in the car on the way there. And then and there was 5 other couples that were supposed to show up for that class. They were the only ones that showed up. It was bizarre. She's like, if you don't want to do the class, I'm like, oh no, we're doing the class. And they're still married today. And gosh, that must have been about 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So wow. I think just, whether I call it health, wealth, and wellness, right? Mm-hmm. That they've had great benefit to having advice. And if you have advice, the nice thing about having an intuitive reading or a psychic reading or a reading of foresight is that it gives you the ability in your world to shift, change, or watch for, mm-hmm. right? So I think it's fantastic if you can tap into it.
Yes, absolutely. All right, everybody, we are here talking with Deborah Drummond and talking about our healing messages that we receive with angels and archangels and ascended masters. We're going to take our quick sponsor break and we'll be right back. Get what you always wanted. Abundant life is possible. Transform your lifestyle in just weeks with the most innovative system developed for heart-centered business professionals who seek change today. You are one step away from creating infinite prosperity, happiness, and love. Grab your bonus link now that's in the show notes. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here with Deborah Drummond, and we are talking about receiving healing messages from our angels, our archangels, our intuitive guidance, and all of that, and all things healing. One of the things I want to know, Deborah, is I know currently you're on this journey, and you have this huge project coming up called 262, but I know that it was inspired through a lot of your messages and the intuitive guidance that you receive with all the different energies that you've tapped into. One, yes, it's healing for you, but it's also healing for everybody else. So can you share with us a little bit about this enormous project that you decided to take on after receiving your guidance from them?
Absolutely. So I'll keep it simplified in that the project, just to give it a perspective, is a authorship and speakership to support International Women's Day and ironically Mother's Day. We've got 2 of those in there. And it is something that when I was 31, I had a very strong, it was almost like claim. There was a book that was going out of print that was a woman's book that I used for my business. And I was like, I am going to do this one day. And I didn't think it was going to take, 27 years, but, we don't. So I made that claim. And then when it became time, like I was walking across the bridge and I heard in my ears, it's time, scream very loud. Now it had a double meaning. One was a project that I'm doing for the music industry. And the other one is it's time. And it became whatever was left pending needed to be done. And so I called, ironically, Angel, who does my PR for things. And I was like, it's time to do this book that I always wanted to do. And then honestly, we're like, how many women need to be in this book? And I'm like, okay, so let me pray. And for me, I know it's going to sound strange. I pray at night. I put my messages out at night, and then I get the answers in my bathroom while I'm getting ready or in the shower, And so I heard the next day 262, and I was like, nope. I was like, not happening. I just finished doing a book of 26 collaborators, and that was good enough for me. And so I'm like, okay, let's just do this again. And then the next day I got 263. Now I thought, very interesting. My girlfriend was transitioning. She's my best friend for 42 years. She was transitioning. I thought, okay, he's probably talking about her, but nevertheless, no, I'm not doing 263. And so the next day I'm like, okay, day 3, let's do this. Like, how many women need to be in this book? And honestly, I got 262 every day. I'd go to text, hey, how are you doing? And 26 would come up, or 62, and I was like, I called her and I'm like, okay, are you sitting down? It's going to be 262 women. She's like, I'm like, And so we started, but we are obviously kind of what I call spirit fueled. And then as we were going to plan the book and to launch last December, I was sitting on the couch and I was watching, Netflix was on while I was just doing some wrap up work for the night. That's a tendency for me. And a movie was shot at me. You know, they send you these movies. You should watch this because you watch this. And so they sent this movie, and it was the third time that this movie had kind of popped off the screen. And it was called Seeing Allred by Gloria Allred. And I didn't know who she was. And I went, ooh, that's got Steinem all over it, which is, I follow Gloria Steinem. And so I was like, no. And then my brain went, yes, like they've sent it 3 times. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll work and I'll just put it on. Anyways, after watching that movie, I realized that I could do more. And that's how 262 project turned into 375. And that's how the speakership got added on and the extent of time that got added on. So yeah, it was very, and I remind myself of that. I actually watched the movie the other day just to remind myself, because, you know, when you're in it, it's a whole different ballgame. So once you're in it, so I'm in this project and I'm like, I need some fuel. I need to remind myself why I'm doing this. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And so for those of you that are out there listening and you want to become a part of this project, how can this project help them facilitate healing within themselves?
Oh, can you imagine being in a circle of 375 women that at the heart of what they're doing is about service and gumption? So just honestly connecting with those kind, you know, that's a circle that you want to be a part of. So I just really feel like that's one of the highest returns on this investment. The other thing is it really encourages you. The mantra is stand up, speak up, and show up. And so many of us think we do, but we could do more. Just like when I was watching Gloria's movie, I'm like, I do a lot of stuff for women, but you know, game on. That's actually what I said to her, game on. And so I think we all can be encouraged to step up a little differently, a little more. And when you do that kind of personal development work, you evolve as a person. Your business evolves, your craft evolves, your passion evolves, your projects evolve, and it becomes, the word that's kind of coming to me right now is like sparkly. It's like there's gold dust all over everything that you're doing. And I think if you can connect with women all over the world that have this same kind of gold thread between them, right? And these are the kind of things like, this is the best summer camp you're ever going to attend. Those relationships that come out of summer camp, it's like, there's spirit all over this project. There's goodness all over this project. There's evolution all over this project. And it's going to move you and inspire you and motivate you and hopefully maybe make you a little uncomfortable. I always say the biggest paychecks come when you're a little uncomfortable. And whether that paycheck comes in money or it expands you in a way that you have some kind of riches, that's what this project's going to do.
Nice, nice. And for somebody who contributes to this project, I know we touched a little bit about the healing being in the circle of supportive women and everything. For you personally, what would you love to see as the result for you and all the people who contribute, and then the shift that you want to see happen globally for healing? What would you like to see on those 3 levels?
Well, first of all, my whole goal is to support people and create economic platforms. So I'm the person that creates the platform for people to come and platform from. So it is a huge ripple effect. So what I want to see is in that circle of women that are collaborating and what these women take on stage and then ripple out is nothing but sweet success. Like honestly, sweet, easy, flowing. This doesn't have to be hard to be where you want to be success. Like I just want it to kind of like I get a vision of, when you pull it like a dandelion, like that's not like it's got all those like, when you blow on it, it just has all those little pieces of is it a dandelion? Yeah, dandelion that just kind of goes into the air and they all go do their magical. It's so angelic, right? And so I want women to have that experience and to give that experience. And for women on the other end to go, holy cow, yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can stand up, speak up, whatever it is. I love, like our service is vast and different no matter what we do. And so I want people to be able to own that. It is happening on International Women's Day, and it is the largest speakership and authorship for International Women's Day. And you know what I want? Women wake up now, and they wake up on International Women's Day and they might send out a couple of posts like, hey, sister, right? But I don't know if they really tap into the power that that's their day. Like women laid it down for you to have that day. We fought for the day, we fought for the vote. In some places, they still don't even have the vote. But when you say from a worldly standpoint, there's one day where we get to come together and we get to own that day. Take the day off, go buy yourself some flowers, go write a letter to a government that you don't think should be doing what it's doing. Go Go do whatever inspires, motivates, or empowers you. Go to the spa, do the things that you deserve. Whatever it is. I mean, it's different for everybody. Even telling a woman, put a line through your friggin' day timer, the day on your day timer, and do nothing, sends most women, and we could probably appreciate that, into panic, right? It's like, you know what I mean? But it's a Wednesday. Someone else can pick the kids up from school. So I think really I want women to own that day in a way that they will never not own it again.
I love it. And I love that whole message. Own it for, and I hear own it for your healing. Just own it. I love that. Yeah. I absolutely love it. All right. How do we all get in touch with you so we can tap into this goodness and these blessings and all of this, I'm going to say, abundance and prosperity that's coming with the Project 262 and all of these fun things that you're doing?
Absolutely. Well, I'm really easy to find. So my name is Deb Drummond, and you can go to debdrummond.com. It's Deb at debdrummond.com. And my formal name is Deborah Drummond. And so Deborah Drummond on LinkedIn, Deborah Drummond on Facebook. You can definitely find me on Instagram, but I would say you probably have a better chance on Facebook. We can only do what we can do. So debdrummond.com is super easy. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. So everybody reach out to her, see how you can help, see how you can contribute, because I know we were starting and we were talking about our angels and archangels and receiving those healing messages, but none of this would be happening over the next year if Deb didn't facilitate and receive her own messaging. And if she can do it, so can you. So definitely everybody just reach out to her, see how you can be a part of it, see how you can contribute, and start following your own intuitive guidance, because again, it's all healing in the heart. So thank you, Deb, so much for being on our Healing Heart podcast and for being an amazing guest. And I'm so happy and thrilled to be sharing this with everybody out there. And for everyone else, you just go create that beautiful day.